When I first got sober, like a lot of people, my body had a lot of healing to do. I wasn't just unhealthy physically, I was also struggling mentally and emotionally. I come from a very medical family, so one of the biggest surprises on my own healing journey was how deeply I fell in love with natural medicine and medicinal plants. I became fascinated by learning how our herb allies could support the body. I later became a holistic herbalist, and over the years, I've built an entire apothecary full of herbal medicines that I make myself. One challenge I ran into, though, as an herbalist, is that many herbal tinctures are extracted using alcohol. While alcohol is one of the best solvents for extracting the medicinal aspects from plants, it's something I personally choose not to consume. So I started exploring alcohol free preparations like herbal teas, decoctions, infusions, syrups, and glycerites. A glycerite is a simple way of extracting the medicinal components of a plant using vegetable glycerin instead of alcohol. I personally love glycerites because they're naturally sweet, but they won't have an effect on blood sugar levels. They are alcohol free and incredibly easy to take. Now, not every herb extracts well in glycerin, but one of my absolute favorite herbs that works beautifully as a glycerite is fennel seed. If bloating, trapped gas, sluggish digestion, or that uncomfortable, heavy feeling after eating is something you deal with, then this homemade fennel seed glycerite might become one of your favorite herbal remedies. It tastes absolutely delicious and is one of my favorite ways to support healthy digestion. I'm going to show you exactly how I make it, but first, let me explain why I love this herb so much. Fennel seed has been used traditionally for thousands of years as a digestive herb. Herbalists call it a carminative, which is just a fancy way of saying that it helps relax the digestive tract and supports the movement of trapped gas. And when I say gas, I don't mean passing gas or burping, not just those things. I also mean that uncomfortable pressure, bloating, or fullness that can build up after a meal. You know that feeling where your stomach feels like tight and stretched after eating? That's exactly the kind of digestive discomfort fennel has traditionally been used to support. It helps soothe a variety of digestive tension, especially when taken before, during, or right after a meal. And ladies, you can even keep a small tincture bottle in your purse or backpack or whatever you're using. I'm a world traveling holistic herbalist, and this is one of my favorite herbal allies to bring with me on my travels. When we're traveling, we're often eating foods we don't normally eat, or we're dining out maybe more than usual. So I highly recommend leaning on this herb for travel support too. Another reason I love fennel seed is that it's considered an antispasmodic herb, meaning it can help relax smooth muscle in the digestive tract, making it especially supportive for like cramping, digestive spasms that some people experience after eating. Fennel is also antimicrobial and naturally rich in antioxidants, making it a wonderful herb just to generally support overall digestive health. Of course, herbs aren't magic bullets and they're not about masking symptoms. I always encourage people to stay curious about why they're experiencing digestive issues in the first place. But fennel is one of those beautiful herbs that can offer gentle support while you're working towards the bigger picture. I believe herbal medicine works best when we look at the whole person, not just the symptom. Okay, now let's make it. Now, don't let the math part scare you. I will make this really simple. So, for this preparation, I'm using a 1 to 4 ratio at 60% glycerin and 40% water in a 16-ounce mason jar. That works out to about 118 grams of dried fennel seed, 283 milliliters of vegetable glycerin, and 189 milliliters of distilled or spring water. Now, you'll need a kitchen scale to weigh everything out, but they're inexpensive and well worth having, especially if you plan on making your own herbal preparations at home. You can also find them really abundantly on Facebook Marketplace for really cheap. If you're wondering why I blend the fennel seed first, I'm not turning it into a powder. I'm simply cracking the seeds open a little. Fennel seed contains aromatic oils, and lightly crushing them exposes more surface area to the menstruum, which can better penetrate the plant material, which will extract a stronger medicine. Once the seeds are in my mason jar, I slowly pour in my glycerin and my water mixture. I like using a chopstick or a skewer or something like this to stir everything in as I pour because fennel seeds love trapping little air pockets. This helps release those bubbles and ensures every bit of the herb is fully saturated. Then I place a lid on the jar and I store it in a cool, dark closet for about 30 days. Light can slowly degrade the plant compounds we're trying to preserve. So, keeping the jar in a dark place helps protect the medicine while giving the herbs plenty of time to infuse. Now, you don't have to let it sit for a month. You can absolutely go straight to using gentle heat. For this preparation, though, I like doing both. So I let it macerate for about 30 days and then I finish the extraction by gently heating it in a pot of water for around 4-ish hours. Before placing my mason jar into the pot, I always put an extra mason jar lid in the bottom first. This keeps the glass jar from sitting directly on the hot metal, creating a gentler and more even heating environment. As the water simmers, you'll need to check it periodically and add more water as it does evaporate. Once the extraction is finished, I strain everything through several layers of cheesecloth, squeezing out every last drop because that's where all the medicine is. Finally, I transfer the finished glycerite into amber glass bottles. Dark glass helps protect the medicine from light exposure, which helps preserve its quality over time. This is one of the herbal remedies I always keep stocked in my apothecary, and it's one of the first bottles I pack whenever I travel. It really works and it tastes wonderful, which is why it has earned a permanent place in my herbal toolkit. I am a sober, world traveling holistic herbalist, and if you resonate with some of these topics, I would love to have you follow along on my channel. Let me know if you end up making this. And as always, have a good week.